They'll call you quiet until your silence shakes the room. They'll call you soft until your boundaries stop them in their tracks. The truth is, the most dangerous woman isn't the loudest one in the room. It's the one who moves in silence, protects her peace, and lets her energy speak before she ever opens her mouth. You see, the world loves to paint women as fragile, overly emotional, or indecisive. We've been told that our softness is a flaw, our tears are weakness, and our need for connection makes us less powerful. But today, I'm flipping the script, because the very things society labels as female weaknesses are actually our secret weapons. Let's break it down. 1. Sensitivity. Being sensitive means you notice details others miss. You pick up on tone, facial expressions, energy shifts, and that, darling, makes you emotionally intelligent. It's not weakness, it's your radar. Use it, walk into any room and read it like a book. You'll always be 2 steps ahead. 2. Emotional expression. They say women are too emotional, but expressing emotions doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. It makes you real. When you cry, it's not because you're broken. It's because you feel deeply. And in a world that's growing numb, that depth makes you magnetic. It draws people in. Let your emotions speak with wisdom. 3. The need for connection. We thrive on relationships. We want meaningful conversations, not just surface-level chatter. And guess what? In a world built on power networks and alliances, our ability to nurture and connect makes us unstoppable. People trust us. People open up to us. And when people feel seen, they give you access to influence, to opportunities, to power. 4. Overthinking. Now listen, I know how it is you replay that conversation 12 times before bed. But that same overthinking, that's strategic thinking in disguise. You're anticipating outcomes, reading possibilities, running mental simulations. That's not a flaw, that's high-level planning. Just learn to direct it instead of drowning in it. 5. Being underestimated. This one is gold, because when people underestimate you, they reveal their blind spots. Let them. While they sleep on you, you're making moves. You get to fly under the radar and strike when it matters most. Never correct someone's wrong judgment about you. Let your results shock them. 6. Nurturing tendencies. The world needs care. It needs restoration. When you bring your nurturing energy, not only do you build strong families, you build loyal teams, thriving businesses, and resilient communities. That ability to pour into others, that's legacy work, that's impact. 7. Desire to be loved. We all want love, but the feminine desire for love is deep, and when you channel that into self, love first, it becomes your compass. It shapes your boundaries, your standards, your energy. It's not about seeking validation. It's about knowing you are lovable and moving accordingly. When you understand that, nobody can play you 8. Quiet women are often ignored until they speak, and when they do, people listen. Silence isn't weakness, it's presence. Learn to speak when it matters most. Use pauses. Let your stillness command the room. Mystery is power. 9. Physical appearance. Your beauty is not your only asset, but don't let anyone guilt you for using it. Feminine energy is influence. Dress how you want to feel. Walk with intention. Let them talk while they talk, you win. It's not manipulation, it's mastery. 10. Intuition, that little voice inside you. It's not just a feeling, it's ancestral wisdom, it's protection. When something feels off, it usually is. And when something feels right, lean into it. Intuition is not guesswork, it's guidance. So the next time someone tries to tell you you're too much or not enough, remember, it's not a flaw, it's a feature. You just haven't learned to weaponize it yet. You see, the world loves to paint women as fragile, overly emotional, or indecisive. We've been told that our softness is a flaw, our tears are weakness, and our need for connection makes us less powerful. But the truth is, The very things that have been labeled as feminine weaknesses can actually be our greatest sources of influence and control. Sensitivity, for example, is often mocked, but it's a superpower. When you're sensitive, you notice shifts in tone, body language, energy. You feel what others miss. That's not weakness, that's awareness. That gives you leverage in conversations, relationships, business, even conflict. While others are reacting, you're observing. You know when to speak, when to pull back, when to strike, and that is power. Then there's emotional expression. We've been taught to hide our tears, to toughen up, to stop being so emotional. But emotions are not the enemy. The ability to express them with intention is what makes you relatable, memorable, and real. In a world full of masks, your authenticity stands out. People trust you more. They connect with you faster. That kind of connection opens doors, creates loyalty, and breeds influence. So instead of shutting down, learn to channel your emotions strategically. Feel, but don't be consumed. Express, but don't explode. That's how you turn emotion into elegance. And yes, we crave connection. Deep, meaningful, lasting connection. Some see that as dependency. I see it as intelligence, because life is not built alone. Every great empire, every successful brand, every life worth living is built on relationships. We remember the people who made us feel seen. Women by nature are connectors. We nurture bonds. We create warmth in cold spaces. That's not weakness. That's how you build a tribe. That's how you create movement. That's how you make people want to follow you, not because they have to, but because they choose to. Let's talk about overthinking. It keeps you up at night. You analyze everything, every text, every word, every reaction. People laugh at that, they call it anxiety, but overthinking, when directed with purpose, becomes a form of foresight. You don't just react, you anticipate. You don't just live, you plan. While others rush, you calculate. You're building strategies in your head. You see the consequences before they happen. That's not a burden, that's brilliance waiting to be refined, being underestimated. Now this is the most beautiful one. Because when they don't see you coming, you have the element of surprise. People think you're just the quiet one, or the nice one, or the emotional one. They don't realize you've been studying them the whole time. You've been mastering your craft in silence. You've been playing chess while they were playing checkers. When you finally show your hand, it's too late for them to stop you. You win before they even know they're in the game. Nurturing is another label they like to throw around like it's a weakness, but nurturing creates loyalty, it creates culture, it creates legacy. When you care, you build. Whether it's a team, a brand, a family, or a vision, your nurturing spirit gives life to things. That's not soft, that's sustainable, that's long-term leadership. You're not just chasing power, you're shaping futures, and don't forget your desire to be loved. That's not desperation, that's human. But when that desire begins with self-love, it becomes a filter. You no longer tolerate anything that doesn't align with your worth. You set standards, not walls, and when people see that you love yourself deeply, they treat you differently. You teach them how to value you without saying a word. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Even your quietness, the times you choose to listen more than you speak, that is presence. Silence makes people curious. It makes your words matter more. You don't need to be loud to be heard. Your energy speaks before your mouth ever opens. You command respect not by noise, but by stillness. There's power in restraint, in poise, in knowing you don't have to prove anything. And yes, your beauty, your physical presence is a tool, not the only one, but a real one. When used with confidence, it can disarm, distract, and dominate. It can open doors that skill alone cannot. People respond to aesthetics, its psychology, its nature. Own it, but don't rely on it. Let it be the invitation, not the conversation. And finally, intuition. That gut feeling that whispers when something's off or right. It's not just emotion, it's data, it's pattern recognition, it's ancestral intelligence. Most of the time, your intuition knows before your mind catches up. When you learn to trust it, it becomes your shield, your compass, your silent partner. There's something incredibly powerful about a woman who understands her influence. Not just her looks, not just her voice, but her very presence. Because presence isn't something you wear, it's something you carry. And while the world keeps telling women to be less loud, less bold, less demanding, the truth is, the moment you decide to own your space, the dynamics begin to shift. People respond differently. Not because you changed who you are, but because you stopped shrinking. You stopped apologizing for taking up space. And when you do that, something magical happens. You stop begging for validation, and people start offering it without you asking. They lean in, they listen, because confidence is silent, and silence makes people curious, and that curiosity gives you the upper hand. See, influence isn't always about saying the right things. It's about how you say them. Your tone, your timing, your energy, those are tools. Knowing when to speak and when to hold back. Knowing when your silence will speak louder than any words. That's not manipulation, that's mastery. The feminine energy doesn't shout. It pulls, it doesn't force, it invites, and when you understand that, you no longer chase attention, you attract it. You move with intention, not desperation. There's a difference between being loud and being heard, and the most powerful women know how to speak softly and still shake a room. Let's be honest, many women are taught to be agreeable, to keep the peace, to smile even when they're uncomfortable, but here's what happens when you stop doing that. People start to see your standards. They realize you're not going to settle for crumbs. You don't beg, you don't chase, you simply choose, and that makes you dangerous in the best way. You become the one with options. You're not desperate for approval. You know your value and you make decisions from that place, whether it's in relationships, career, or friendships. When you operate from self-respect, you change the game. You don't move emotionally. You move deliberately, and let's talk about boundaries. A lot of people mistake them for walls, but they're not. They're filters. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about deciding what gets in and what stays out. They're about protecting your peace without explaining it to everyone. When you set boundaries, people test them. That's normal. But when you hold them, when you stand firm without flinching, you show them exactly how to treat you. Every time you say no with confidence, you reclaim a little more of your power. Every time you walk away from disrespect, you remind the world who you are, and over time you stop attracting chaos. You start attracting clarity. Now, the most underestimated skill a woman can have is emotional discipline. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about managing them. It's about choosing your reaction instead of being ruled by your feelings. The woman who doesn't let her emotions control her has already won half the battle, because when you're calm, you think clearer, you observe better, and while everyone else is busy reacting, you're strategizing. You don't need to argue. You don't need to prove your point every time. You know that your silence is sometimes louder than your explanation. You're not in a hurry to be understood by everyone. You understand yourself, and that's enough. There's also something captivating about a woman who moves slowly, not lazily, but intentionally. She doesn't rush to respond. She doesn't feel the need to explain her every move. She knows that mystery is part of her allure. The less people know, the more they want to know. And when you become unpredictable, you become unforgettable. You create space for people to wonder, to chase, to earn their place in your life. And that shift, from being the one who proves to being the one who chooses, puts you back in control. Because not every move needs to be announced. Not every feeling needs to be shared.